welcome back to another episode of the I Can Do This All Day podcast. I am Dan, the part-time adventurer. That is Mark, the resident Jedi.
Hello there. Today we are stoked to be joined by our friends from the Level Down podcast. Gentlemen, introduce yourself. Tell us about your pod before we dig into today's episode.
Well, I'm Devin. That's Dell. We do two podcasts. First one is the Level Down podcast, Nerd and Geek Culture, movies, video games, comics. Every once in a while, we'll slide some other stuff in, but that's usually our main focus. And then for Dell,
we have the Bury the Booking podcast. It is a wrestling podcast. We do reviews weekly for AEW, WWE. If there's events, pay-per-views, we do previews and reviews for them.
This is the second attempt, at least from our perspective, of recording an episode with these guys. We did do a couple episodes before, but unfortunately my audio was garbage.
That's still up.
It was bad. It is up. So if you want to check out how horrible it is, it's the least viewed podcast episode for them because of my audio. So
only true fans can sit through that.
It's worth a watch.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
If you put on the subtitles, Jeff's kiss.
Because when we first started doing this, we had terrible technical issues.
It was weekly.
So people are just like, "Oh, that's them.
That's what they do." And it's
yeah.
You know,
so I'm an honorary member.
I love that Dan's dodging the blame and the bullet. You guys are like, no, it's fine. Everything's fine. Oh. No, we're excited to have you.
Yeah, these guys are awesome. If you have not checked out their podcast, please do so, especially if you're a wrestling fan or geek culture fan. There have been plenty of times where I've listened to your guys' podcasts just going into work, just laying back, relaxing, or just like, dude, I just watched some wrestling over the weekend. I want to check out what they have to say. So definitely check them out. You guys are available on YouTube, everywhere?
Everything.
Yeah, everything.
YouTube, it's on both shows are on Twitch Live. So you can watch a live version of us on Twitch, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, iHeart, pretty much all of them.
iZombie, all that.
As somebody who does not keep up on wrestling as much as I did in my youth, having a podcast to lean on to try and figure out what the hell is going on is hugely useful. No.
Two of y'all I gotta watch. 2 episodes I gotta watch. I want to see y'all. I need to watch your Mission Impossible one. And I think y'all just did the ballerina.
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah, I got to see that one.
I need
that one. I definitely need to watch that
one. I love the last Mission Impossible movie.
Okay.
3 hours of just action. I still don't know what it's about though.
I heard somebody say that for the last Mission Impossible movie, they started by brainstorming the stunts and then seeing if they could film them and then trying to build a movie around the context for the stunts. Like not even plugging a movie together, but just like where can he run and what can he dangle from? Mm-hmm. Now let's make it a movie. And that shows in the quality.
Yeah, because I had no clue what it was about. Some AI. I was like, whatever.
Sure. It was about AI. I don't know what the last movie was about. So.
Hang from a plane.
But definitely check it out. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. But the crazy thing that brings us together today, not just the fact that we like each other and we respect each other's crafts and opinions on things, but we had a YouTube commenter and they had recommended some movies for us to review. And I went to Mark and I had said, like, hey, which ones do you want to do? And he's like, well, if the Level Down guys do this movie with us, I'm game. So the movie that we're going to be reviewing today is The Brother from Another Planet, 1984 cult classic science fiction movie. I want to hear each one of your origins with this movie, if you had one, and what your expectations were. Dal, I'll start off with you.
So first, I appreciate the fact that you just gave this one to the black guys. What better way to kick off the eve of Juneteenth as we record than to talk about this. It's what I always wanted to do with my pre-holiday. Thanks. No.
It is almost Juneteenth.
It is. You know what? All by accident. I had no idea.
Yeah. I didn't know that either. Candidly,
Although, wait,
what were the
hold
list
on.
of movies?
This was Mark's idea
It
to
was
record
my
on
idea.
this day.
It
Thanks, Mark.
Whoa. I gave Dan 2 dates, one a Sunday and one a Wednesday. I love how Dan's like busting me on this. No, they gave us 3 movies to record, and we had talked about like, why have we not done more with these guys? And all the movies were obscure. 2 were obscure, and one was Train Spotting. I don't need early Ewan McGregor. You know the Ewan McGregor I want to see, and he has a lightsaber and all of that.
Fair.
So it was between the what's the first movie from the guy that did all the Lord of the Rings movies that
Peter
he
Jackson.
wrote and starred in, this weird Peter Jackson zombie movie, which we're like, we probably should save that for Halloween or something. And then this other movie, and I'm like, I've never heard of this before, but it's a cult classic and it's a sci-fi movie. I feel like this is in our wheelhouse, but I don't want to do this by myself. I don't like, we've done enough old throwback movies and watch-alongs to where we're just like kind of toasted on it, and we're trying to branch out and like do more with podcasts that we like. So I'm like, see if the level guys down there do it. I was really thinking maybe they'll say no. Maybe they'll say you guys should not do this movie
Because of the brother aspect, right? The brothers.
not the brother aspect. It's you're the only guys we have to call. Really, that's it.
I'm sorry.
The only ones we have to call.
So this is a big either F you or thank you to Keith Dukes on YouTube for recommending this. This is going to be a fun episode to record, to banter, to even reflect. I'm probably going to watch this again after we get done recording, just because I'm really curious as to how everyone's opinions are going to be about this stuff.
I needed to watch this under the influence is what I needed to do.
I did not take a gummy before watching this, and I regret it.
So
I was
the
nervous
ratings,
going into this film.
The ratings
Really
for this movie,
nervous.
6.7 on IMDb and 89% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Lies.
So just leaving that as the
There's some type
interesting.
There's underlying racism involved in those scores.
It's gotta be. The black community had to push this.
Yeah, like
They's pushing this like Kamala. This thing is not.
this ain't no.
This ain't it.
This
had
ain't
you
it,
guys
Chief.
heard of this movie before? Like, had you seen it before? 'Cause
No.
I am Mr. Cult Classic Movies. I have made Dan watch horrible campiness, like Dan Aykroyd, Nothing But Trouble level,
that's my
terrible
movie.
campiness. I love that.
You know,
movie.
I would have preferred to talk to you guys about that.
We can pivot at the end. We can
God,
gloss
no.
through this and
Please,
dig
no.
into that.
It's like-
But I saw the title list and I saw that
Miles Dyson.
yeah, Joe Morton's in this, and I'm like, I like him in many things.
Yeah, Cyborg's
How did I
dad.
not hear of this? Right? Like, so relevant to other movies that we've done, and I'm like, is this just a bad sci-fi movie that we've never heard of? How can we watch this? And yeah, I'd never heard of it before, and I'm glad I'm not the only one.
I've heard the name. I've never seen the movie.
The movie came out in 1984. So many other great movies came out in 1984.
So many.
Completely just overshadow this. Science fiction, what is my genre? So this must have just been something that even my grandparent was like, no, you can't watch this.
They fell bass backwards into science fiction.
Yeah.
So knowing nothing about the movie and just seeing the synopsis, I'm assuming you guys read a little synopsis on it. I thought this was going to be just like a full-on comedy. I'm going to get you sucker type of movie. And I was like super
Would have been
excited.
okay with that.
Yeah.
I was thinking more the line of Earth Girls Are Easy type comedy.
Okay.
When I saw Brother from, I'm used to Blackula and all those other.
Yeah, like a Vampire in Brooklyn type thing.
Yeah, something like that. But this was not that.
I'm going to tell you, when I saw the beginning, and the music in this is a huge overtune. But when I heard the steel drums integrated, I'm like, are they doing? Are they going to do Earth Girls Are Easy? Are they? Because that movie is hilarious, and the music and it just adds. I'm just like, there's steel drums in this. Here we go. What is going on?
Yeah.
And why is he hopping everywhere? Is the leg thing going to be a joke throughout this? Like, is he going to find? Is he going to find like a Statue of Liberty statue to use as like what's going to go on?
I watched this on Tubi, I think it was.
I think we all
And
watched it on Tubi.
I got YouTube.
So
I watched it on YouTube.
Okay, you
yeah,
guys are smarter
we
than
should
us.
have we should have watched it on YouTube because it would have cut out all those commercials and everything. But for the resolution and the lighting, I didn't know what was going on for like the first 2 minutes.
The
Like
two?
even my well, yeah. But my wife was like, "What that is that his helmet? Is that like I couldn't tell what the fuck I was looking at." And so I was just like, "All right, I guess I'm in for it now." I knew within that first 5 minutes, I was like, "Oh, I think I fucked up. I think I fucked up by taking Keith Dukes's recommendation on reviewing a movie." But we'll get there as we continue on. It seems like we
Yeah.
got some really strong feelings on this already, but yeah.
8 minutes and 48 seconds is when the picture started to clear up.
Okay.
I-
Alright.
I kept trying to think of like snappy podcast jokes as I'm watching the beginning. I'm ready to make like Monty Python references as the guy's hopping around. 'Tis but a flesh wound, right? And then I'm just like, oh, this isn't gonna be funny.
No,
Mm-mm.
it was.
Nah.
It
So-
had. No, I did laugh through it. I did have a couple chuckles through this
Yes,
movie.
yeah, no, I laughed out loud at a few things, but
But they were really inappropriate and severely racist.
Mhm.
That's
I
the
would
point
love
when
to
I
hear the
texted Dan
example.
when I got to the point where I'm like, this isn't gonna be funny. I'm like, why did we pick a heavy movie to do with the level down guys? I thought
Yeah.
this was gonna be funny.
This has a lot of like held in high regard, just overall, just because of the whole social commentary and the undertones and things like that. And I feel like this particular movie, it was made to turn some heads. It has zero budget. Like I'm pretty sure This was the
350,000.
Mhm.
this was the budget. Whatever's in my hand right here. I don't know. 350,000 1984 seems like a lot, but I don't know where the fuck the budget went. Was that all just from his eyeball like being put into a planter, or I don't
That
know.
was horrible.
We're not there
those
yet.
those were those were the purchasing of the arcade machines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it.
Arcade rental. There's a lot of quarters going on there.
Yeah. That was the budget.
They had a good cast. They had some
Yes.
hitters
They did.
in this movie.
They had very noticeable people in the cast. They did.
You had Carl Winslow's mom. I don't know her name.
Yeah.
Same thing. It's the mom it's grandma from Family Matters.
Yeah, Family Matters mom. Like you had some good people in here.
Steve
you know.
James from American Ninja fame. Gotta respect Steve James. So when I saw Steve James in the cast list, I was like, oh dude,
How could
Brother
this
from Another
not be
Planet.
funny?
yeah, he's gonna team up with Steve James, and Steve James is gonna kick some ass. And no, he just stands behind the bar, and that's it. He just plays it cool.
Yeah, nope. Yeah,
And he plays catch a lot in a really odd manner.
Yes.
That's
Very-
not what happens in bars.
Very uncomfortable. This shit was a Tubi movie before Tubi was a thing.
It won some awards at an obscure movie festival.
It was a hey,
Oh,
give an award to those guys.
You
Well,
remember?
no, they got
award.
3. They got best actor and best screenplay at ITGES at the Catalonian International Film Festival. The smallest thing ever.
Whatever the fuck that is.
Shondo.
Yeah.
This is the. You remember the Ritz in Philly?
Oh,
This is the type
yes.
of movie. We have
Yes,
a
that
really
was-
bougie movie theater called the Ritz, where you can get cappuccinos and
Mhm,
baguettes and things like that.
Mhm,
This is the type of movie they would show there,
yeah.
and they would
Yeah.
sell out.
on like a Sunday morning, afternoonish.
I'm gonna be honest. I only think white people watched and enjoyed this movie.
I love
I
the fact
wouldn't
that you just
say
said that.
joy.
So
Because this
This is
isn't it.
Nah.
My problem with the big issue with it was I see what they were trying to do, but you can't have a quote unquote black movie and not cater to the black audience. And this did not cater to the black audience at all. They had tropes, they had caricatures of people of what they assumed black people back in the 80s were.
There was a lot of that.
Yeah. What is it? Soft shoeing. That's what it's called. Soft shoeing.
Soft shoeing.
So it's funny that you said that only white people enjoy this movie, because after I did the review, or I'm sorry, after I watched the movie, kind of preparing for our review and everything, I tried to find some discussion about that. And the only ones that I found, I'm assuming they're all white guys because they sound white to me. I don't care. I'm going to play that card right now.
Mhm.
But it was like just admiration for the film. And here's the thing. I might be the only one that somewhat enjoyed the movie or appreciated certain aspects of it. It sounds like we're all going to shit on it, but I'm going to say right now, for Joe Morton, he did the best possible acting as a alien, as a mute, and all just by facial expressions. I would say it's very similar to Ryan Reynolds' mask acting in Deadpool. Just the fact that he couldn't say anything. Maybe I'm just looking too much into it. I'm trying to give credit, even though it doesn't.
There's been a lot of good movies where there was no talking. One of my favorites is what is it, John? Shaun of the Shed with the sheep. It's an animated movie. My kids love it. These types of movies, like I enjoy. I've watched several silent films. Just didn't work for me.
The reason it didn't work was because it was ridiculously incoherent. So it seemed like this movie was 76 and a half hours long, and they had to cut it down to what we got. And it was just a bunch of just shit happening.
He didn't become a hero until an hour and 20 minutes into the film.
After he did heroin.
Yeah.
Yo,
What the fuck?
Right before that, there's so much that they gave this character, I thought, that they did not capitalize on. Early, they did the touch memory and the hearing thing. I thought they were going to go kind of Superman on it. Steal that. He's got to focus. He's going to figure something out. Maybe he learns to communicate at some point. No, doesn't ever learn to communicate, and only uses his power for arcade goodness.
Yes.
Arcades and stealing cars.
He did get money by walking to that pawn shop.
Yeah, he used the force.
Yeah.
My notes were like, is he a
everything
Jedi?
there? Yep, fixed everything there. And then, listen.
And he could jump up fire escapes real high early in the movie. Yes. I'm like, what?
Where do you get that from?
I don't know, man. Never used it again.
No.
Never used it again. Did the front flip in the fight scene.
Yeah.
Which was the highlight of the movie for me.
Yes.
The choreographed fight scene where the two guys that played catch were step in the fighting. After watching Ballerina, I was like, this wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
But his greatest superpower of all, though, we're forgetting, is that randomly being a stepdaddy for like a second, taking the kid to the museum.
Yeah, that was strange.
That guy has the best game.
What the
strongest game.
Yo,
he
didn't have to say
chick. The other lady let him watch her kid, gave him some clothes and a place to stay, and dude said nothing.
Got a job?
Got multiple jobs.
Multiple
jobs.
Just
leadership roles. Yeah. Just let's go. And dude said nothing.
And was just like, fuck it, I'll just do drugs too.
He started out with one foot and ended up in a full suit, learned how to tie a skinny tie. Where did he learn how to tie the skinny tie? That scene where he's getting dressed, he is meticulously setting his skinny tie. And I'm like, when did somebody teach him that?
I don't know. But let's bring it right back onto the racism. He was also good at basketball.
Yes, he was.
Ugly form for that shot, though.
Total throw in. And you're like, no, he's not going to do that. You
Yeah.
know they're not gonna do
I'm
this.
like, come on.
They was trying to hit all the stereotypes.
Sean Marion went and saw this movie and was like, I'm gonna go play basketball now, and that's where he got his shot form from.
Oh man,
Oh man, but yeah. So
that's,
I,
that's
all
a
right, we're
deep Sean Marion reference, by the way. Sean Marion's been retired for some time, Dan.
40 as fuck, and that's what we do. Like, you think I'm gonna fucking call out Halliburton
I
on
thought
this
you were gonna
podcast?
call
Fuck
out
that
like
shit.
Lonzo, like one of the Ball brothers, and their
Fuck
weird
that
ass
shit.
funky
That's
jump
I
shot.
watch
Like
I watch basketball, not just a 3-point contest. That's what I do. So that's
oh
going back
man,
to the old school from the 90s. I'm sorry. That's just how I am.
yeah.
I'm a purist.
Give us a
Uh,
strong Sam Cassell.
there,
Oh,
yeah.
there we
Vernon,
go.
hey, I'll just sit here and throw out just random awful basketball players. My college roommate and I do that to this day. We'll send a text message like Dolph Shays, and it's just fun stuff. It's just good stuff for me. But so you guys are shitting on the movie a lot. I want to kind of appreciate the fact that like this, and I think it was Devin you were talking about where they're just nonsense conversations throughout the entire thing. I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was so funny that this alien just doesn't give a fuck what they have to say, but the people that are talking to him, they care all about it. They don't care about hearing his feedback or getting any feedback, really. It's just all about them. So I kind of appreciated that to be like, these people are all fucking dense. He's an alien. He understands them, but it's not communicating back with them, but they still continue to talk.
Yeah, yeah, they
And
did,
so,
and they cared for him. Like they,
yeah,
they protected him against ice, which was ridiculous.
They did, they did. But I've have you ever? And maybe this is me. I don't know. I don't think I've ever walked into a bar, not said a word to anybody, and been automatically brought into the family. Right?
Now,
Like just I'll find you a place to live, I'll find you a job. Like, let's go, buddy.
now I was in Northeast Philly, Studio 98. It's a Russian bar.
Ooh,
I don't speak Russian,
Ooh,
but I used to go into this bar and have a great time. Some of the people spoke English, but 90% of them spoke Russian
Did they
or
call you the
Ukrainian.
machine, Devin?
No, no. But I used to go in there and had a great time, and everybody in there was welcome, and you know, I guess because I was spending money, but everybody was happy. And even in certain bars you can go to, as long as you're friendly and you're not causing no problems, you know, people going to engage with you. To the level of this movie, that absolutely not.
yeah, no, yeah,
You're not going to have some random city social worker off the clock be like, let's put you up. No.
yeah.
And the
Yeah,
bartender pay your first month's rent?
$50.
Like,
It's
Wasn't it
just
50?
like-
that was crazy.
It's like $50 in 84 is
Yeah.
not a little bit of money.
He like, don't tell my wife.
Yeah. He's just like, oh, we got it. We
Yeah,
got
you,
it.
you willing to get into like a domestic argument about this?
They was
Right.
already arguing
Mm.
Oh,
over
yeah,
food.
Yeah, they had problems.
He like, I'm not trying to go uptown. I don't go up there.
I don't go the
Well, you too dark to go up there. I get it.
So going back to like that line, I loved seeing Fisher Stevens doing the card trick. And my wife was like, "What the fuck is going on right now?" And so she like I'm big into cards and card
Mhm.
tricks and stuff like that. So I liked seeing that, but I loved his last was it a riddle or a joke or whatever? It's like, oh, his magic trick. That's what it was. His
Yes.
very last magic
Oh,
trick.
yes.
I'm gonna make all these people disappear. And like, yeah, because they're not going into Harlem. That's the big thing. I thought that was hilarious. And just the fact that it was like, yep, okay, they're really pointing it on the nose that there is a divisive line for white people and black people, and it's not past this stop. So like, there we
was
go.
like
Here it
that.
is.
It was like that. I think 110th Street was the cutoff back in the day.
Mhm.
Now I ain't been down that area in a very long time. But it wasn't like segregation. It was this is where, you know, we about to hit Skid Row.
Yeah,
So they
yeah,
all
yeah,
got
yeah.
off. And
Yeah,
most
yeah.
of those people who were getting off around 110th Street, they were going to work. They didn't live around there. This is where they worked. Now in 2025, I couldn't tell you what New York looks like,
Yeah,
especially
I was
Harlem.
was curious about that. If Harlem is even remotely close to what we think it is or is portrayed in the movie now. So, listeners, if someone out on YouTube listening
Yeah,
in Harlem,
let us
give
know.
us a
I
shout.
mean,
Yeah.
if you want to take YouTube's word for it, I was so interested in this movie. I went out and watched an interview with the star where he talked about the fact that Harlem's so gentrified that people don't get this joke anymore. And I have to call out, Dan, that you went full Randall Park on us and were like, I love card tricks. Is it because you want to pop your business card? And to pop the business card? It's an
I like
Ant-Man reference. Everybody's least favorite Avengers movie.
I
No,
just like cards. I like cards. That's
Ant-Man
all.
wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't bad. I enjoy watching those movies more so than Captain
Sorry.
America Brave New World.
Everybody's least favorite pre-Endgame movie.
Did the
Nah,
Wasp come out
nah.
after that?
Ant-Man and Wasp.
No. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I just wanted to get that Randall Park reference because that came against my feed recently
Oh.
where he's asking him about the close-up magic. And I'm like, Dan would say some shit like that.
So I apologize to my esteemed co-host, but Devin Dell, there is a tradition on our podcast to where Mark gives his version of the plot. So Mark, kick it off, even though it's a little bit late. I would love to hear your version of the plot for this movie.
God. Extra powerful one-legged alien arrives conveniently at Ellis Island, and we don't know what he's planning on doing, but we know he's hiding from the guys that run without moving their arms.
And hilarity ensues, right?
Yeah,
There we go.
And no hilarity ensues. And he underutilizes every power, and eventually the guys with the non-moving arms are incinerated as they should be for the T-Rex arms while running.
How do you do a Dragon Ball fusion?
Yeah, they
and just disappear.
Dude.
Like what was that? Like they, first of all,
on some real Wonder Twin power.
Yeah,
and they were gone.
I was very uncomfortable like looking at these two. Like they look like they both tried out for the role of Balky in Perfect Strangers.
Oh man.
And
Balky
did not make it. If you guys don't know what that is, listening and watching, look that up.
You're too young.
Yes.
I read Nihilist from Big Lebowski, but that could just be me.
Yes. But like, oh yeah, and then like you said, like they did the fusion to self-destruct.
Like I'm used to these types of movies, but this just didn't hit. Like when I saw this movie, I was thinking Night of the Comets. Am I going to get something like Night of the Comics? I don't know if anybody ever seen that old 80s movie.
Have not.
If you get a chance, check it out. Great B sci-fi kind of horror film. It's called Night of the Comets. One of my favorite old 80s movies that I used to watch over and over again as a child. What I found funny in this film is when Walter, old man who sat at the bar, when he started getting on the Haitians and the Polynesians. Yo, the laughter, because
Voodoo germs.
Bill Cobb.
I thought that was hilarious.
I recognize this guy. He's been in so much stuff, but then he's just talking about like toilet germs and
the crazy thing is this. I heard that same rhetoric growing up.
Really?
I'm not. They still living, so I'm not saying this family member's name. Would spew this type of just wild accusations about different races and cultures and places he has been.
Okay.
Because military, so he traveled all the time, and he would say the most horrific things about people and just thought it was normal. He's like, oh, don't do that there. Don't let this person touch your hair. I'm like, that's why I laughed, because I'm like, that's my uncle.
I mean, that's not just your uncle. That is so many crazy people in red hats right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's an epidemic. It's not old. It's constant.
Yeah, I would throw that glass out if I were you.
Oh yeah, no.
Speaking of glasses, real quick sidebar. This happens. Unfortunately, I know it does happen, but it did make my blood boil a little bit. I never ever like or need to see on film ever again anybody, especially the Balkies, order beer on the rocks.
I thought that was
Yeah,
funny. I thought that
that
was
was real
funny.
alien of him.
So mad. I was
Yeah.
so angry.
Oh my gosh.
I was
See, I
I
love the fact that
Thankfully, it's
these.
never happened in front of me, like in real life.
That is grounds to smack somebody.
Yes.
Oh man,
it's
I just
grounds too, but
love the
why couldn't we
odd
get
stuff.
more off jokes like that? Why couldn't we get more dumb things?
That's fair. That's yes, more than fair.
There's a lot. I don't know if you guys, maybe you guys may have tuned out, and it's okay if you did, but I was picking up on a lot of stuff that was really, really funny. That being one of them. But it's just the ridiculous banter and everything, and the fact that the brother ends up knocking boots with some lady, and she's just saying like, "Yeah, you were really great in bed last night." Like, bitch, did you see his feet? Did he
Like,
not? Is he one of those dudes that
she
doesn't take
said,
his socks
Yeah,
off when he has
yeah,
sex?
but
yeah,
no,
she said do
she
something about the
said,
toes.
she said
Oh,
you
she
gotta do
did.
something about them
yeah.
toenails.
She did say that.
Like,
You're right.
girl
Okay.
did not care.
Yeah.
You got three
Okay.
toes.
I'm
See,
like,
when
I
it's
forgot
that
about
power,
that. Yeah.
that tell see that's a commentary of the black male endowment that you could not speak a word, have messed up feet, but as long as you throwing it over your shoulder like a continental soldier, nobody's gonna care. Nobody.
I mean, in all fairness, this is like a fairly respectable recording artist at some point.
No, she was loose. She was banging the old man.
Oh, she was trying not to, from what I got. But yeah, no, she
She
was talking
used
about
him.
banging her way across the country and singing. But I'm just, yeah, Dan, I was thinking the same thing. She's gonna take his shoes off and it's gonna be over. Nope.
And
No.
can we talk about his like his story of like this was the only thing I was invested in. Like his okay, yes, he's an alien, but like this creepy conquest mission he was on for her was like
He said
Wait,
he was stalking her.
I
it
mean,
There was a
was
mission. There was
it
a
was
mission.
he
for
came,
him it
he
was
saw, he hit
could-
that
yeah.
ass, is what he did.
He
Yeah.
did, but I'm just like, oh, like, bruh, like I've unfortunately seen people this thirsty before, and it was like,
It was called The Bodyguard.
yeah,
You gotta respect the dedication. He's got
he was
John Wick
committed.
will of going after women. So I'm perfectly fine. He's got such laser focus that he's like, this is happening. And
I'm
you know
just
what?
saying.
That's his best superpower is being able to bag an Earth woman, being mute as fuck, toenails of a bag lady. Like that's how crazy it is for that. That's a superpower. Best superpower ever. There we go.
Nobody. It's 1984, like AIDS epidemic. Yo,
Wasn't even worry about it.
space AIDS is crazy.
Wasn't even worry about it.
We heard that from dude at the bar. That's
From Walter,
Yeah.
because he was right. Like, space AIDS get you. Now we got Big Tarvy that'll help you out. But back in the 80s, we ain't had that.
Mm-mm.
Do we want to talk about the two guys who walked the wrong way from the railroad station? It
Wow,
just made
this
me
movie.
super uncomfortable. But for
Like-
Dan and I, and Dan may have felt this way when they're like, "We're from Indiana," which is like Illinois and basically Chicago. I was like, that so happens.
That's
People from
that's-
Indiana tell you they're from Chicago all the time. All the
Indiana.
time.
I like to
Wow.
refer to that as white people speak. That's what
Yeah.
it is.
No,
Like,
so-
I don't know what else to say. So you guys know Indiana? It's really great. It's right next to Illinois, Chicago. Yeah, that's where.
Chicago. Yeah,
It's right
yeah.
right
So
there.
stupid. So dumb.
man.
Wait, how do I? That's a real place.
Indiana? It's a state.
Where's
Real place. But the Men in Black. So one of them is David Strathern from the Bourne movies, and John Sayles, who's a director, screenwriter, and editor. He's the one who actually directed that movie. Gets a lot of praise for this movie, but he's done some other stuff that he's won awards for. I believe Eight Men Out was one of those movies, but he's very well regarded in the Hollywood scene, I guess, and his accomplishments. But this one was just kind of puzzling for me because I feel like this was a student movie. And was it bad? No. Was it entertaining? Sure, there were parts of it that were entertaining. And it wasn't what I was expecting, but like, okay, at least there is kind of a method to the madness. It had no plot. I don't even know why he was there on Earth. Was it just a crash landing? Is that what it was?
He
Because
he was
I
a
couldn't tell.
slave. He was running.
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
Okay.
And
he
they didn't
was
give that
running.
to us until 3/4 of the way through the movie,
Yeah.
right? Was that just me? I'm in this movie like, what is the purpose?
Yeah, what is this?
Is he there? Did he like take? Is he trying to find a planet to take over? Did his parents shoot him off of an exploding star? Like, why are you here, my guy? And then, as he's stepdadding, we get the answer. And if we're not already uncomfortable, we're much more uncomfortable as we reflect on it took me an hour and a half of an hour and 45-minute movie to understand the motivation of the protagonist. He's already done crack, heroin, and murdered a drug dealer. And now we find out what's going on. What the fuck is going on here?
When he was crash landing and things was going on, I thought there's a horror sci-fi movie called I Come in Peace.
Love it.
Yeah.
I was thinking, are we going to lean a little bit, and we're going to get a little bit of that in this film, especially if we start doing drugs.
Yeah. I wish it went into that realm because God, I love that movie. I have the Blu-ray. Just watched it a few months ago. It's great. But yeah,
like I see what they were trying to do. I see the messages they were trying to portray about immigrants, racism, social classes, and things like that. I get that. But for me personally, I don't want to see that in my movies. I don't watch movies for reality. This is why I didn't like Luke Cage. I'm here to see a big black dude destroy stuff. I don't care about your hood.
We talked about that on the pod.
I didn't like Luke Cage so much I didn't watch it after the first episode.
Oh, I love Luke Cage. I liked it.
Luke Cage is a great character.
Yeah, I was a fan of the show.
But I need superheroes. I've lived in North Philly. I've lived in West Philly, Southwest. I've lived in horrific areas of Philly. I've seen that. Got money. I live in a very nice, predominantly white neighborhood. I don't want to see that no more. I've elevated my status.
Sell out.
Exactly. No problem with it. I am a house. Can't say that word on this show. But I belong in the porch. Lemonade.
You got to be careful with what you're saying. You're really making Mark sweat over there. So you got to.
Mark's just fine. There's a reason I thought that this would be a good podcast, especially if this movie was funny.
It would have been great if it was funny.
Yeah, if it was funny, like if we laughed at things that were we were supposed to laugh at, and not the sheer like confusion of like, what am I looking at right now? Like I laughed more at the fact that I couldn't wrap my head around what the vision or the purpose of certain things that I was seeing was, more so.
I think it was a constant confusion of why, until I found myself, I've spent a lot of time watching this and I have no idea what's, like, I'm paying attention to this and I don't know what's happening. Vis-a-vis the scene where he chews a like bunch of crack and then decides he wants to, there's a dead guy with a used needle in his arm. He's like,
you know what?
I want to feel like he feels.
I want to do that.
I have touch memory. I should be able to just touch it and like get everything. Nope.
That ain't good enough.
Really feel it.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, he
had
could
a
have just touched the syringe,
moment.
Right? Should have been able to just touch the syringe.
Yeah.
And the other part of my head's like, he's gonna heal him. He healed the little boy's knee. He grew back his leg.
Yeah, I thought so too.
The junkie.
Nope.
He's gonna do the Da Vinci Code thing and talk to him, and now he's not a junkie anymore. Nope, left him dead, and then added more dead people.
He had a Mentos moment and realized this crack candy good because he wanted more.
This crack candy's good.
He was Mentos fresh and full of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the Mentos makes you paint on walls with your blood.
That was a crazy scene.
Yeah, so that was a scene I didn't understand until the very end, and then it made sense to me. Like that's where it's like, okay, I appreciate callbacks and it's like, oh yeah, this was from the beginning of the movie or the middle of the movie, whatever. But you really have to I don't want to say like you have to really be paying attention, but you have to be searching for the answer as to why he was so excited and painting with his blood. So the reasoning for that is because like he saw that there were other refugees from wherever he was from, and that's why he was like super excited. And that's why they were all there at the end. And so I at that point I was like, "Oh, okay." Now it made
Wait,
sense to me because there were so many different things to where it's like, I don't know why they're showing this. I don't know why it's even there.
those are aliens?
Yeah,
Those are
no, that
aliens.
was a whole group of
Yeah.
aliens
That's why the
that were
Balkis blew
chasing
up.
those guys down.
That's why the
I
Yeah.
thought
Balkis
they
blew
were
up
just black people teaming up with him.
with bug eyes. They were just like,
Yeah. No, that was his people.
I thought the
Yeah.
neighborhood was like, let's help this guy out,
yeah, yeah,
stand
yeah,
strong.
yeah, yeah.
No, no,
Yeah.
there was it was the underground that helped him out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I
That
missed
was the
that.
secret war. It was there.
It was at
It
that
was real
moment
quiet.
it was at that moment when the Balkis blew up where I realized I should have been watching this movie drunk.
Here's the crazy
That's
thing.
when I realized it.
Why would you come to Earth, America, in the 80s as a black person? You couldn't find no place, nowhere else to go?
He crashed, man.
This wasn't the right time. You
This
should have circled
was it the right time?
you should have circled the universe for at
He had to
least
get his
another
foot
10.
sorted.
Yeah.
He had to get his foot figured out. And then he was like, I mean, I really like that singer. And this kid needs to understand how to take care of Balkies. We'll get this right. We'll get this right.
He
And then
crashed.
he like
He
cracked.
crashed. Yeah,
He was like,
crash landed with gout.
Yeah.
He
yes.
banged his whole foot up.
The guy that's better than the Monty Python joke. Cheers to the gap. That was great.
But this
Oh,
guy has
man.
so many powers. Like he really is like an awesome superhero. It's
He did
just the
everything.
fact that yeah, most impressive is banging the singer, but still,
Yeah.
like the eyeball thing, I had to rewind it twice because I was like, what the fuck just happened? Where and why is he doing this? And it's like, oh, because I couldn't connect the dots of where this plot was going. You know, like I didn't know he was going to be going after the drug dealer after he made his Sean Marion shot on the basketball court. Like I had no idea.
I thought he
So-
was going after the young kid. I thought he was like he wanted a little piece of the young kid.
It's
I
yeah,
thought
that's
it,
what I thought too.
I thought it was going to get real Chris Hansen for a second. I'm like, why is he stalking this little boy?
Why don't you have a seat?
I have to
Yeah.
I have to call out the lack of like updated. Hang on a second, I'm blurry. I have to call out the fact that they organized the way that they made the eye work seemed wonky because of current technology. I thought it was a wirelessly accessible eye that he could watch in real time, but no, he had to upload that shit and put it back in his head to be able to watch it back, right? It was like a USB camera. He had to reload and upload, and then he had to upload it into the drug dealer, and apparently he had the eye patch accessory that appeared from fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
He's just like,
Yeah.
oh, got my eye patch. I pop that. There's my eye patch. It just automatically comes down.
Just materialized.
I was like, how does
I
he
have
have an
to-
eye patch?
Just because you're calling out that, I gotta call you out, Mark. You're getting awfully urban with this speak that you're talking right now. Like, are you just doing that because of the guys on the podcast or
Oh,
what?
it's totally that. I'm trying to figure out how the lady then kicked him out of the house when she saw he lost an eye. Like, there's all this pity for this guy going everywhere, right? Somebody's paying his rent. They give him a job. She lets him be a stepdad. He loses an eye, and he's on the street.
Gotta go. You gotta go. What
I-
we not gonna tolerate?
No,
Using body parts.
only two-eyed people are welcome in this house.
to ask though, does it change your opinion on the movie, or do you hate it more, or does this all make sense now, knowing that the director was a white guy?
I don't
Nah.
I don't hate the movie. It's gonna fall in the movies that I will never watch again. But I'm not gonna be like I hate the movie because it's from the 80s, so I have to give it that little bit of leeway. And you know, the director being a white guy, I don't care. That doesn't mean anything to me. Yeah.
Yeah, he probably just was just in line at the bank, like behind a black dude, and then just sparked up a conversation for a second. It was like, you know what? I got inspiration for a movie.
There's money to be made here.
Yeah.
What's
That
crazy?
that black guy was
Yeah.
actually pretty cool. Let me go ahead and make
Somebody called the white guy, the director, brother, and it got in his head.
And he was like,
Yep, he thought he was part of the crew.
No, the secret, the real secret and origin behind this is that Ernie Banks was his hero. So he
There he
just
is.
had to make the movie.
Keep making it up.
there you go.
Oh,
But
okay.
I don't. If it wasn't for you guys, I would have never. This movie would have never landed on my radar.
Yeah, no.
Like I've
If
never
it wasn't for
heard of
somebody
it.
from the UK, it wouldn't have landed on our radar.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
let me pose this question now. Why was a person from the UK just like super really into this movie and wanting us to review this? Like that's Dukes, if you're out there, man, please let us know because
Yeah, Dukes.
we're
Thanks
puzzled.
a lot, jerk.
We're puzzled,
Yeah.
puzzled.
We're all gonna block you from downloading the podcast after this. No,
Oh,
you know,
that's funny.
you're gonna see that the episode was posted and there'll be snippets. No downloads for you, bro. Never.
Yeah.
Never. Never. You can walk down. Your dude was from where are the Beatles from?
Oh,
Manchester.
I mean Liverpool for
Yeah, dude's from
McCartney.
Liverpool.
That
You can go walk
explains
down
it.
Penny Lane without
That
our
ex-
podcast.
That did it. Thanks a lot.
But here's the thing. I see why you're saying he's from the UK. I see why. I watch a lot of UK shows, and I've watched a lot of UK shows throughout my life. If they had British accents in this movie, I'd have been like, this is about right. This fits right.
Would you have liked it?
I probably would have liked it more.
Then we should
Because
have just.
I would have been like, this is British humor, absolutely fabulous, and are you being served? And I've watched so many British shows.
We should have just did Attack the Block then.
That's a good movie.
Yeah. We could have just reviewed Attack the Block.
Or you want to
Maybe
do
for next time.
superheroes? Meteor Man.
Oh my word! Yes,
I ain't seen Meteor Man in forever.
I tried to.
Anybody has.
Yeah,
I tried to.
it don't hold up.
No, but I'm still interested to see it all the way through.
But I do. I think the movie was good for what it was. I know I'm trashed it, but if I didn't trash it, nobody would listen to anything I had to say. But like, if I'm gonna give it a rating out of 10.
Oh, we'll get to the ratings
okay.
in a second. We have a segment, if anything Martha'd us. So this is where like we get the same visceral, guttural reaction when Superman said Martha in BVS. Mark just flipped his lid and was like, "This fucking sucks. This movie's awful." And so that's kind of been our benchmark of if there's a point in a movie where it just completely Martha'd us, not just like, I didn't really like that. I'm talking about just like, this is fucking awful. Well,
Martha.
do you have any Martha moments?
I'm trying to think of that scene. Is that the scene where Batman was about to
He was about to kill
give
him.
it to him?
He was about
Yeah.
to kill him.
That was the best part of the movie. Jeez,
That was
I
the
wish he would've-
downfall of the DCU.
I hate
The
Superman.
downfall of the DCU was the Martha moment. There's
can't
never been
stand-
a good DCU movie since then.
I liked it because Superman got them hands. I love every time Superman get beat up. I love it. Makes my day. I just watch certain scenes of shows where he getting dogged. I hate Superman. with a
Apparently, you're gonna
passion.
like this new one because he has to get saved by a puppy.
because he gets mocked.
I'm stoked for that.
I'm gonna love it. Yes.
But
Martha.
do you guys have any Martha moments?
Yeah, go.
My Martha moment happened at the very, very tail end of this thing because I randomly got like church music to whisk me away to the end of this whole thing. And I'm like, why is this like a Sunday sermon all of a sudden for no good reason?
I don't. So you want to hear my artistic like bullshit reason as to why that's the case?
Yes, please.
It's just the brother found his people, and so he's got his own congregation.
He stole
That's
So
Southern
that's-
Baptist type thing.
They're home. He's got his home because he's around his people. Cue the gospel music, I guess.
I don't have a Martha's moment. Like
went from island music to gospel.
There was nothing in this film that would just have completely ruined it for me. There's not one specific moment in this movie that completely ruined it for me.
The very deliberate throw over the bar in the epic bar fight, like that was also for me. Like just the pose, like hold it. Like I laughed at it. I was
Yeah, I
entertained
didn't
by
even
it, but
mind
I
the
was just
bar
like,
fight. But there are a lot of enjoyable and weird moments that I can't say this movie is a complete flop. But no, I don't have a Martha's moment. I don't have one.
Mark, what about you?
The thing that Martha be this whole movie was the complete incontinuity of any kind of technology or purpose. I completely lost it when they plugged a USB drive into this guy and like a restraining bolt from Star Wars, right? They're just like, oh, and now we have a button that makes that turns you off. I'm like, is he a robot? Is he a person? What the fuck is going on? He's regrowing limbs and healing people, but now also he has a SATA port that can be accessed somehow.
That's that metaphorical whip.
I
Could
like
be.
that. I like that. That's a good
And
explanation.
didn't somebody in Roots get their foot cut off? Somebody in Roots got their foot cut off. Cause that's what I thought the connection of him losing his foot was.
wait, I get the whole purpose of this movie now. Now that Mark was talking about the tech and all of this, and we just got finished talking about the DCU, this was how Cyborg's dad got the tech. This is it.
He is of age.
It's a prequel.
This is
They
it. This is a
uploaded the talking
prequel.
That's
software.
I love it.
They did the
I love
update
it.
so he could talk.
Yes.
And then he's a scientist.
Yes.
This movie just got a whole
That
lot
was
better.
it.
You
That
just
was it.
fixed the whole movie now.
Boom. Done.
I'm
Yes.
not mad about that.
Done.
I'm not mad about that at all.
Done. It's a prequel.
I
Prequel to Justice.
just made it so
And that's
much
how I'm
more
going to see
funny.
it from now on.
You just made it so much more funny.
Wow.
I want to go.
Because how you going around fixing technology and stuff?
Crack. That's how.
That's true. I'm gonna go on a similar vibe with that though, and just say that Fisher Stevens' character is the card trickster. He's just been a hustler his entire life, and that's why he's like, yeah, this whole white magician thing isn't working. So I'm gonna become Indian, and that's where he was in Short Circuit. So that's what it was. That's
Okay.
Yeah, that was
I'm
the he
sticking
was
with
in
it.
Short Circuit 1 and 2.
One brown face. One brown
Yeah,
face.
no. And then he was in Hackers after that and went extra translucent white in that movie. Have you seen Hackers?
Hackers.
I ain't seen
That-
Hackers and
I haven't seen it in the.
That
in a
movie's
long
amazingly
time.
terrible.
Oh my God.
Amazingly terrible.
I thought it was good then.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
I have it on DVD. It's one of the DVDs I did not get rid of because I'm like, you're not gonna be able to find this anywhere.
Yeah. Sure.
I only have one DVD, the one that Chandel gave me. Superman Returns.
Ah.
I don't even own nothing to play a DVD.
So that was a receipt because he got me Mortal Kombat Annihilation,
Ooh.
and then Superman Returns was his receipt.
Just confession time. I saw Annihilation in the movie theaters on opening night.
Yeah,
Dan
so did
loves
I.
that movie.
I did too. My Aunt Teresa took me to see that movie at the Ritz, Chandel.
Oh wow!
Opening night.
Wow, that's definitely a movie you play at the Ritz.
I sent Dan a copy of Nothing But Trouble, and he sold it at a garage sale.
I did. I did.
Oh no, that's when Tupac was good and
Tupac was in that movie.
yeah.
That's so great.
Wow.
Him and Digital Underground had a lot of ties together, man.
Wow.
I get it. So
Every
Oh,
time I
man.
watch that movie, I'm like, I forgot this was here.
Mhm.
You can't watch that movie. It's got to be like at least 5 years before you like, okay, I'll do that again.
It's usually that. Then I watch The Burbs.
Oh my! I haven't seen that in ages.
Yes.
We
And
watched.
then-
We did a watch along for What's the Roddy Piper movie we watched, Dan?
They live.
They live.
They
They
live.
live.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm like, I haven't seen
Yes.
this in forever, and
I came
wow.
here to chew bubble gum and kick
Yeah,
ass.
Yeah.
it's a while before you forget how bad that movie is and watch it
No,
again.
Yeah.
no.
It's
What
not
was
a
the
bad
other
movie.
Piper one?
It's
Hell
not
Comes
a
to
bad.
Frogtown or something?
Yeah.
I never saw
Yeah.
that. Never saw it.
Whoa. Oh yeah. If there's one to do, that one.
I will never say They Lived is a bad movie.
Nah, yeah.
I
I
will
didn't
watch
think
that.
so. Mark doesn't like. Mark, you don't like old horror movies.
I'm not a horror movie guy. I like the older ones because they're campy. Like I'm a huge Evil Dead 1, 2, and Army of
Mhm.
Darkness guy. The new Evil Dead, I'm like, why'd you make it scary? That's not cool, man.
It
That's
was
not
scary.
the new one, like the new one.
See, I
I
don't
mean,
have that. I've been
it's
watching horror
creepy.
movies since I was little,
Yeah,
so they don't.
We're on the same page. We're on the
I
same
grew
page
up.
then.
My nursery rhymes was Hellraiser and stuff like that. Body horror. So it has no effect on me.
yeah. See, I was on the Star Wars and Indiana Jones bandwagon, and was not like did not watch a bunch of horror movies.
Yeah, I was a Star Wars guy
I
too.
was a sensitive kid.
Oh no, I need to see bodies.
Same, same.
And
I'm
now I watch a horror movie now. I'm judging it on higher standards because you can't scare me. I don't do jumps. I don't have jump scares and stuff like that ever. So I'm looking at it through different eyes. That's how I judge my horror films, if they're good or not. If I feel something from the movie, you're a good horror film. But if I'm watching it, I'm like, this is boring. Like all Scream movies, boring.
Yeah, I haven't really liked anything past the first one, and it wasn't necessarily scary to me. It was
Yeah,
just
nah, yeah.
gory, like
Yeah.
that's
No,
okay, great, some gore.
you're just a dude. You're a teenager with a knife. You're not a threat to me.
Hmm.
I've been stabbed. It ain't that bad. Walk it off.
Skeet orange.
Walk it off.
So I think we're getting to that point in the episode where I have to ask you guys all a certain question. Devin, Dell, Mark, when it comes to The Brother from Another Planet, 1984 cult classic, can you do this all day?
Absolutely not.
Not.
That was funny. That was like a double. Yeah, no, I'd never seen this movie before, and I will never see this movie again.
When it comes to this movie for me, I can't. I'll if I say that I can do this all day, I'd be lying because I might watch this once more, maybe just because I'm kind of curious now that I know what it's all about after seeing the entire movie, and now I have to go back and really kind of study the movie. I don't just because of that, I'm gonna say I cannot do this all day. But it's not bad. It's not a big piece of shit movie. It's very 80s. It's very old. Some can say that it doesn't necessarily hold up, but there's a lot of things that do because people talk shit all the time. And that movie was just people talking shit and the brother just kind of going through and he just happens to be present. But notice when he is with those people, it's
What
not
do you
the
mean,
focus
those people?
on
Yeah, whoa, man. Hey.
Dan, you better watch
meaning
yourself, man.
meaning the Earthlings, meaning
I
the
thought we were
Earthlings. Everyone
friends.
else, yeah. Apparently not after this, but all the Earthlings that was good. Thanks for calling. That's fucking hilarious. That's going on a short for sure. But when he's around all the Earthlings, it's not the focus on the whole scene. So the whole directorial auteur theory of okay, we're gonna make these wonderful grand shots. Whenever it's the brother and an Earthling, the focus isn't on the scene as a whole. It's listen to the bullshit, and even the brother is not reacting to it. But when he does, it's just like little glimpses here and there. And so it's just appreciating the fact that there's this person that doesn't belong there. And he's just thrown into this shit. And by the way, the dude was ahead of his time because he made yoga pants happen today. He flew into Earth wearing yoga pants, and now they're a thing in 2025. Either that, or it was the same type of pants that Randy Marsh would wear in South Park when he would microwave his testicles and they became the size of like a wheelbarrow. So that would be the only other thing that I could compare it to. But yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of genius in this movie. It's not my type of movie. I can't even say it's science fiction. It's just fiction to me. I don't think there's really any science involved in it at all. But yeah, I just wanted to throw a little bit of respect out there for it and appreciation. But yeah, can't do it all day for me.
I will say that after viewing it and watching some of the YouTube stuff where the stars talked about it, like I appreciate that movies like this had the space to get made in the 80s and distributed. You don't get movies like this anymore. Don't think you get allegorical films, partially because they weren't that good, but also they just aren't distributed with any reach, at least in my opinion. They're not marketed to me in, suburban America. Like it's not there. Y'all have that one theater where you can go and see these snooty movies with the cappuccino. I'd have to drive like an hour and a half to do that.
I feel like that's an inaccurate statement because there's a whole channel involved to that shit, and it's bled into other channels with Hallmark movies. It's bled into like Netflix and all that shit. You got BET. Dude, I've seen some things on TikTok to where some of the movies on BET was like they've got like the craziest fucking plot points, and I want to see those movies because it's that fucking ridiculous. Like there is a movie that I saw. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that on like TikTok floating around at all, but a really really bad movie that this guy is pretending to be catatonic, and then this nurse just sucks him off for her pleasure.
I've seen the
and he's just pretending. And I was just like, holy shit, I want to see this movie just because of that scene. It's crazy. So I feel like those movies are being made.
Yeah, what is up with your fucking algorithm, dude?
I like movies. I got a lot of stuff with movies.
That's the context I got from that too. Ladies, Dan doesn't put in any work. That's what we all should take from this.
No, I like those types of movies as well, for the record. So it's just like so strange to me that like, no, those movies are being made. It's just not necessarily theatrical, but they're in more abundance now than they ever were. But I feel like that's 100% true.
What movie came out recently? The American Society of Magical Negroes.
Oh yeah.
That movie falls right in line with this type of stuff. It's more modern though. It still hits the same, well, not the exact same tone.
No, but you're in the ballpark.
You're in the ballpark. You're trying to get a message across using subgenres, either fantasy, science fiction, or horror.
Now that that we've talked and we've laid this out, I am way more inclined to want to watch this again, just so I can immediately watch Justice League afterwards and see if I can draw any parallels.
I'm so excited. That was the best.
I legit might do that.
I did not expect a moment of joy talking about this movie until you brought that parallel up, and you created.
I do this.
You created more of a backstory for this than I could have ever.
I need to see if this works. It'll work. It'll be fine. I'm sure this is exactly the way it was intended.
You need to see if when he fixes Cyborg, if he glows yellowish orange,
right?
Then that's it.
That's it.
That might be the Snyder cut because it's black and white, but you might have to go. Is that why the Snyder cut's in black and white? I don't know what's going on here.
It might be it. We might have just made sense of this whole thing.
I'm gonna go with that. I'm just gonna say that it's canon. It's canon.
It's it. Another thing for James Gunn to deny. I love it.
Well, thank you guys for joining us on this episode. We really appreciate you. I had a lot of fun. Give your socials and everything for the audience before we sign off.
You can check us. Just go to YouTube. You actually Google the Level Down Podcast. We pop up pretty much everywhere. Bury the Book and Podcast as well. All our socials are linked on TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, or X. We're out there. We're here for you guys. Hopefully.
Yeah, but pretty much, it's just, we're everywhere you like to, listen. And if you watch we live stream Twitch, YouTube, and again, this is fun. This is always fun, guys. Like, so thank you for thank you for considering.
Appreciate this.
Yeah. Thank you for considering this, this is cool.
Thank you, guys. And until next time, I am Dan, the part-time Avenger. That is Mark, the Resident Jedi.
Don't forget to watch, subscribe, and follow all of the Level Down content you can. These guys are awesome. And we hope to have them back much more often. Our paths have not crossed soon enough, gentlemen. Such a pleasure. Can't wait for the next one.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Hopefully next time it won't be this, but it'll be this.
We'll get the thumbs up going.
We'll see you next time, everybody.